Hello, everybody. Alright, first of all, let's do a mic check. We gotta do a mic check. Yes, we gotta do a mic check. You're correct. Hello, Di. Hi, Di. I know Tara's is a kid. She doesn't say much. No, not really. She does once in a while. Lovely when people are talking to her. Yes. So, I guess the mic is okay for this volume, right? Am I loud enough? You don't need to do that, Mario. What are you talking about? I wasn't nearly as loud as you were. Alright. Can I be heard at this volume? No, you can't. I'm assuming yes. I couldn't hear you at all. How do you expect her to hear you? We're testing my low volume. You have a low volume? Okay, she said you have a low volume. I guess I must believe it. You got a thread loose on your eyeball. I got a what? I wonder why I see blue. We're gonna sit up here. Alright, time to get a guide. Alright, do you remember what happened last time, Di? Yes, no, maybe? I do. Of course you do. Yes. We assume that Maya is locked in the cavern, okay? Once we ended, there were 5 locks onto it, 5 trick locks onto it. When we first went there and seen it, there was 1 trick lock on there. We're calling them trick locks because they're slightly different from psych locks, which psych locks do have a keyhole into it, trick locks don't. That much we know. Yes, we did learn about Dahlia, her relation with Iris and Pearl Faye, and their connection with Morgan Faye. So, we also learned who... Hey, Phoenix. We also learned who Elise Doc's name is. She is... Who again, Di? Hello, Robin. Who's Elise Doc's name? You remember who Elise Doc's name is? Who's the least doxed them? Because we learned about it last week. The least doxed them would be the master of the crane technique. She is Maya's mother, Misty Faye. Okay, let your laptop do the update. Okay, it should be finished before I finish the stream. Right. We also learned about Pearl Faye's situation, what her role was into it. She was given a letter from her mother. We assume that it's from her mother because it was written to her, but we don't know who opened it. Let's see what else she said. Oh, and you remember what we found? Mario, do you know what we found? Yes! We found a sword! We found a sword. That's correct. You remember that die? Where did we find the sword? Inside the staff, you're correct. And now, the rest of the trial. I said it'll probably be finished before I'm done streaming, so it's going to take a while. Updates usually do. February 10th, 9:39 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Good morning! Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearls. Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's going to happen to Mystic Maya? I'm sorry. I don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed into the inner temple. Oh, I see. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove the trick locks in the training hall? No, she's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court. Then she's not here in the defendant's lobby. I have to admit, it's kind of strange. You're looking for Iris? She's in the prosecutor's lobby. Edgeworth. What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? The prosecution is squeezing her for a confession. Or so I heard. What are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Franziska isn't going to be the prosecutor today. What? Then who is? Oh! Really? We're not gonna have Franny at the stand? Di definitely knows who's gonna be the prosecutor for this case. Who else would it be but that Godot? Godot? Franziska is engaging in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night trying to remove the trick lock, with the head nun's assistance naturally. We estimate that the last of the lock should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we receive some good news soon. Yeah. Thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight. Like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Such a touche. I can already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all of this. Almost immediately after I made this decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you passed your cold on to someone else, literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner. Thanks. I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. The circumstances around the murder of Mr. Lee Stockton, no, I mean Misty Faye. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. We'll get to the answer to that here in a bit. And what that woman is really after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. February 10th, 10 o'clock a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. This is probably going to be the saddest part of the entire case. Hope you got your tissues, Di. I got my tissues. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakor Temple. You probably are wondering why this judge is here. What happened to the other judges, you're probably wondering to yourself. They're wondering the same thing. Your Honor? What are you? Who? Me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. He must have fainted fast his cold onto the other judge. That is one powerful cold to be able to be spread long distance. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. My poor brother, he looked a little bit pale, not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we as the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Goodell. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Goodell, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tide. There is only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. I'm assuming that he's meaning the truth. Well, then you mean... Well, forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she had a change of heart. Did she now? Sister Iris of Hazakor Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Iris. didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I'm but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something that you want to confess to? Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Doxnum? No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. Well, we kind of knew that. Because there was no way around that. So we kind of knew that. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard where I desecrated it. What? Order in the court! Order! Witness, are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. Which is not 100% correct. Not 100%. What? 3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. We just gotta realize something. Did she actually agree to become an accomplice to this? Or did she just carry out the desecration? Ha! Everyone on this planet is accomplice to something. It just happens to be that, in this case, it's the murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? Let's go. So this is the confession they were conferring about. I hate to say this, but it looks like Iris' testimony was all a lie. No, it wasn't exactly a lie, because she confirmed that she didn't go across the bridge right in her confession. So technically that is not a lie. Iris' testimony crumpled up and shoved into a pocket. Into a pocket? How about into my pocket? Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris was covering for someone? Not really. Definitely up the streets without a paddle or a life jacket. I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of this strange tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. Sorry, for the main family? Yes, and that's why I consider myself to protect her. The daughter of the master of the terrain channeling technique. Mystic Maya Fey. Huh? Okay, you have to wait. I guess in the meantime you can play your Sims 3. Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite. She's naming Maya! Order in the court. So not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer? I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. Something's not sounding right in this, is it? Nothing makes sense.
Objection!
That's ridiculous. Maya could never. The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. No, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honor. I thought I was prepared for the unexpected. But I never imagined this case would wind up going in this direction. The real murderer. I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. Mystic Maya was still stabbed, stumbling. Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. So it was in self-defense? Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected? Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal. I think it's not quite right. Sure, it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night, and that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. You ready, Di? Okay. Shows one recommended statement that needs to be pressed. Mr. Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that on the night of the murder, you didn't go to the inner temple.
Objection!
Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go? I was in the inner temple. It was in the inner temple's training hall. A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony. But she said it in court. She said it in the detention center. They have written documentation of it. That would be properly described as hearsay. What do you have to say, witness? I just tell him the truth at the time. Mystic Maya, your girlfriend, isn't she? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder. There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden? Yes, Your Honor. saying that the victim attacked Maya? I mean, Miss Faye? Yes. It was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was going to collapse. What were you doing at the time? Why didn't you stop them from fighting? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock. That's perfectly understandable, my dear. This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute. What happened after that? She moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Yes, I'm sure of it. Moved down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of a dagger. Dagger, huh? And Miss Lee Stockton tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly. Ha! You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swung of Worcestershire sauce. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? Your Honor, I have a small problem with this witness's testimony. You do? This witness is your own client. Yes, well, nonetheless. That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony. Yes, sir. Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Gramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Okay, now, let's continue. She threw her staff away and pulled a dagger from inside her robe. Sounds fishy, don't it, Di? She threw her staff away. Mr. Police was trying to kill Mystic Maya. I think that's why she wanted a more lethal weapon. It's true. It's not easy to inflict a deadly blow with a staff. I don't know what we know. Mr. Iris, let me make sure I've got this straight. The victim herself chose to throw away her staff? Yes, that's what I saw. Is there anything odd about that, Mr. Wright? Yeah, it's odd, alright. Mystic Elise attacked Mystic Maya with the dagger. I'm sure of this. And then Mystic Maya turn things around, and then she used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike. Witness, are you absolutely certain? Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something, Maya Fey's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see. This is bad. Still can't put the pieces together. Once I find a contradiction in her testimony, Maya is going to be blamed for this. I only have this to say. So, you're saying Maya Fey was the one who stabbed Miss Elise Doxham? Mr. Iris, is that really what you saw? Yes.
Objection!
Test, right? If your mug is filled with black and bitter suspicions, then the only way to get rid of them is to drink them down quick. Like this! It's supposed to be a metaphor, but I don't get it. There's only one thing you need to get, right? It's called evidence. Now hurry up, before my next cup gets cold. What does that mean? Is Godot waiting for me to point out the contradictions? I'd like to avoid the whole spirit challenge thing if I can. Not only would it be as inadmissible as evidence, I think it might actually hurt our standing with the judge. First, I need to pick her testimony apart and expose the unnatural sounding parts. I don't know why Iris would tell a story like this. There are two things I noticed that just don't add up. Alright, you know where the contradiction is. Okay. You know, the evidence.
Objection!
So, before I read that, you actually had 3 statements that you could have pressed or present evidence on. Statement 2, Statement 3, and this statement. You can use the staff, or at least Doxham's profile picture for this one, or on Statement 2 and 3, you can just present her profile picture. So they kind of snuck this one in. Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss Doxham throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with a staff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise Doxnam really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say?
Objection!
That was an impressive bit of investigating, Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff, liar. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy, and thus quite ineffective in close-quarter combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade. Well... Anyways, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey, which also seems suspicious, don't it? As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony. There's something strange about this whole testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point. Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back its argument. Mr. Wright, I have another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. Because Miss Elise Doxnam would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. There's only one of them that's actually going to work before you die. No, it's going to be on this one. Think long and hard about it. You might figure it out. Pearl's not mentioned in this statement because it says, because Miss Elise Doxnam would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Why? Now again, think about what is being questioned. Because Miss Elise Doxnam would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Think about their connection. What connection does Elise Doxnam have with Maya Fey? The other question is, who is Miss Elise Oxnam? This is Mia, M-I-A. No, Mia is the sister. So Mia isn't Elise Oxnam. Yeah, M-I-A. But you need to establish a connection with Elise Oxnam and Maya Fey. So, Mia, Pearl, and Bikini has no direct connection to Maya in this statement. That should help you, right?
Take that!
Elise Oxnam would never have attacked Maya Fey. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise Oxnam. Her real name was Misty Fey. Right? Ah, no! Not Mystic Misty Fey. Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to? Misty Fey is the master of the crane channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey. Oh, are you serious? Really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elise Oxnam actually the great Mystic Misty? There's no doubt about it. Looks like Iris had no idea. Actually, we don't know about that. Did you? Did you not? Somehow I have a feeling this look. Somehow I have a feeling that you would have had to have known. Because if Bikini knew, he would have had to know. The only person that would not have known was, get rid of that. Was, you know who? I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her own daughter, one, he hasn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing. Good. Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed naturally enough. However, in light of some new facts have just been presented. One, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and two, that the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter, despite the fact being believable when taken on their own. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Listen, There's nothing in this world that is impossible, except for one little thing. Yes, what is that little impossible thing? Ha! You still don't get it? You think maybe my beans are under roasted? But you have no idea, Gramps. Did you get to your point? I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyways, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty. That's the dagger the witness testified to seeing? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else? Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree in the crime scene? The pine tree? This dagger was stuck in the back side of the pine tree when the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women. The little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Ah! Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of coffee, morning coffee. Didn't you say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get to the blood analysis on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I ordered that a blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. Dagger added to the court record. Now then, the testimony we have heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Cute girls never lie, ever. In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court. About what, Your Honor? What the incident you saw, the battle between the two women. Yes, Your Honor. The battle. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with a staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack as she stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive, with her back to the stone lantern. When Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise, Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. That was a very heartbreaking story. I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. That seems reasonable. Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Okay. More webs of lies. Right, Di? More webs of lies. Oh, Di, that web is going to have its own site soon. Iris? Where were you standing when you witnessed all of this? What do you mean? Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle. I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so I think that's why they didn't see me. Dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck? What happened to the victim's staff then? I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated. That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger. Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike. But Mystic Maya dodged it at the last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up. Nothing sounds especially strange yet. What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her? You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? Yes. Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger. I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal analogies has grown tiresome. What were the ones? You were the one that started it! Anyway, so after Maya Fey blocked the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next? Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw? Yes, I'm almost certain. Almost? The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who. What did she just say now? So in other words, it could have been someone else entirely?
Objection!
We know that Maya Fey was at the inner temple that night, and that the woman that was killed was Elise Doxnem. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who? I don't have anything to counter that yet. Hold on, witness. Please continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. two of them faced each other for a moment. Then Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise dodged over and fell to the ground. Stabbed in the stomach, huh? Yes. Oops. I did not mean to pause there. Who's wondering why you were paused there?
Hold it!
Where did the dagger go? I have no idea. It was dark and I couldn't see. According to the detective who found the dagger, it was stuck into the pine tree in the garden. Most likely it was flung towards the tree after the struggle. That is the most likely explanation, yes. After being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? Now that I think of it, I seemed to stare at Mystic Maya for a while. And Mystic Maya stood there, not moving an inch. I felt for a moment like time had just stopped. You find that strange, Di? You find that very strange? Yeah, me too. But then suddenly, as if the spell had worn off, Mr. Achilles fell over. Seems like a reasonable story at first, but there's one thing that is completely impossible. The very idea of Maya stabbing someone. That alone is impossible, which means this faulty testimony must contain another contradiction in it somewhere. Okay. Do you know the statement? Okay, let's take a look at the last one for a second. She said Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. Okay. So, this statement itself would make sense in a normal situation. I really should. In a normal situation, that would probably make sense. But we don't have anything to disprove that. Now, Phoenix has been pressing this, saying it's impossible. So, why is this impossible? Why is this impossible? And Phoenix is going to keep pressing it every single time. That is not working. Oh, it's the autopsy report. Okay. I read that wrong. I gave you the answer on that one. I give you the answer on that one. Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong with my testimony? So, let's go back to what this says. It says, time between 10 and 11 p.m. caused loss of blood from stab in the back. That's the major cause. So, the reason why this is contradicting what she is saying is because it is from behind, not from the front. And there's no way to stab somebody if she was leaning against a stone lantern. So that's the reason why. What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct? Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. Ah. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. Ah! What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Ah! It's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift? No shit, Sherlock. We also got a left and a right side too. We also got a top and a bottom. Do you need to explain that all too? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. You're playing with my mind too.
Objection!
Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? I'm not sure if they're illogical metaphors. They could be definitely logical, but I agree with the cheesy proverbs. What is this? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away a useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about this whole thing. I think the prosecutor is being naive about this whole thing. All because the witness is a beautiful girl. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. I don't think there's even that much in the world. But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Well, I got 5 senses. So how is it possible to pick out 253 different types of bitterness when we only can taste about 3? Less bitter, middle bitter, and really bitter. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself. The witness was quite unambitious about her own ambition. The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said, ambiguities? What the heck is that word? That the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. You know what? They say eat your vegetables that you can see in the dark more. Light. By the way, did you know Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, a stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit? I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Naturally, yes, Your Honor, but according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hasn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's it. What about the lanterns that are all the way around the stone lantern? Motion lighting. Yes, that's illuminating fact. Has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. The prosecution is weak. Isn't that right, Trite? No! Order, order, order! Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern into evidence. What the heck is he able to carry such a heavy thing? Isn't that even mounted to the ground? Mario's questioning Godot carrying a stone lantern to the courthouse. This thing is like 25 feet high, and he brings it to the courtroom that's just barely 30 feet high. Maybe it will rekindle the flames of truth in your mind. You're wondering how he was able to bring a stone lantern into court? Stone lantern added to the court record. He must have used the shrinking ray that Shredder used in the second Genesis game to be able to bring it into the courtroom. Why is the judge just sitting there with a look on his face? He's probably wondering how Cadell brought it into the courtroom. Not even Shigeru Miyamoto is able to do that. That would be very funny. He'd bring his car into the meeting, and the president of Nintendo would be like, "What's this for? I had nowhere to park, so this was the best place to put it. How did you even get it in here?" What's wrong, Your Honor? Was the flame too hot? This lantern, there's something written on it. Oh, he discovered the smallest thing that we've all been wondering about. That wasn't the first thing on our mind. The first thing on our mind is how he brought it in the courthouse to begin with. What? It's written in blood. Here it comes, Di. Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood. He's kind of confused why he's not able to see it. It says Maya upside down. What the? Oh, yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing that on the stone lantern behind her, with the blood that was draining out of her body. Certainly looks that way.
Objection!
Hang on! Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense! This lantern is as clean as a whistle! Holy crap, those red goggles really are messing up your eyes! Could it be? He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. Well, that's what he meant by that. In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot? Okay then, let's move on. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it from caffeine overdose. It's a clue! It's a clue! Johnny, write this down. Godot's behavior is suspicious. I believe it has now been established that Miss Elise Doxnam was killed by Maya Fey. That's just wrong! Now it's time to turn our attentions to you. Yes, sir. After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. This is our cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Crane tradition, so I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across the Dusky Bridge. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to the Hazakura Temple and used the Shishito to go through the way the wound was. So you moved the body? Yes. It was raised at the Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fey clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Doxnam was actually Misty Fey. I've committed a terrible sin. A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for a twist of fate, Your Honor. I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body, but you were spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. The story makes sense, I suppose. No, it doesn't. There's a blatant contradiction right there. I can see it a mile away. Can you, Di? Only a mile away? I saw that before it even came up. Hold on a sec. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. We have one statement that has to be pressed. So, you waited until everything was over before making a move? No, it's not like that.
Objection!
She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument? It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her that she had done. So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey? Yes, of course I did. That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyways, she was a very special person indeed. Why did you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene. Remove your body all by yourself? Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow. Snow, huh? It's pretty amazing you could make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch a simple cold. Even a simple cold. But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into the Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. I thought that it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible. Ha! Makes perfect sense to me, for the time being. Anyways, what did you do after you crossed the bridge? snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later. Yes, I had the key. I used a snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusty Bridge. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? Let me hear about the snowmobile ride. Well, it was very cold that night, so I rode it all the way to the foot of the bridge.
Objection!
I'm sorry, witness, but now I've got a problem with your testimony. Excuse me? No. What are you up to now? That night, after the head nun left the remainder of the training to you, she said she walked from the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comment on the subject. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say? It gets worse, too. Order, Mr. Godot! Why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony? Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay? Well, maybe. Sister Bikini missed it. Yes, maybe she didn't see it. You think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Ha! Whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. It's just, you'd better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that. Yes, sir. Whoa! What was that all about? I'm wondering that too! The poor girl's in a fright! Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So, you transported the body by snowmobile? All the way to Hazakura Temple courtyard? Yes. I thought that way Mystic Maya would never be suspected. That's what I thought anyways, and then Is that what you were doing when Sister Bikini saw you? Yes, that's right. You probably said the word. Probably? I was like, definitely. I see. So Sister Bikini mistakenly thought you were the one that murdered Mrs. Dolphino? Sorry, please forgive me. It's my fault that this case has gotten so confusing. Believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. Why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of. Okay, do you know what the statement is? Okay, so we have to go back to one statement. Well, before we define a contradiction, we have to go back to one statement. Alright, now we're back to here. You already questioned about the snowmobile. If you recall, if you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks. The picture would present that was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from the ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple. Still falling, huh? And then, when the murder took place, it already stopped. That's why there are such fresh looking tracks. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. It doesn't make sense to stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like this statement Iris just made added to the testimony. Does it have something to do with the case? All will be clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. Ha! It should be fun. Yo, let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. There have been a lot of contradictions in your testimony so far. This time, are you sure it's all true? Yes, I am. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobile tracks were so clear. That's right. I'm certain of it. I think I've trapped her this time. I say how you think. No, huh? What is going on here? Snow really had stopped by the time of the murder. It means there's a bigger hole in her story than the movie The Great Revolution. Do you watch that movie? I don't think I have either. Ah! Well then, Mr. Trite, perhaps you'd like to share your theory with us? Let's see what's up your sleeve, or rather at the end of your index finger. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. I was just trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? One reason I can think of. Alright, now let's go and pick a statement. Take a look at the statements very closely and you find which one that doesn't sound right to you. You think it's the last one. Now, when you say last one, you're talking about the new statement that was added, right? I'm going to be very honest with you. We have no evidence to prove this. We go back one. She did do this one. No question, she did this one. We go one back. This did happen. This statement. This statement has a problem. Remember, back from Iris's testimony, we know this is wrong, but now we have to prove its impossibility. You know what it is? Why is it impossible for Iris to drag the body across Dusky Bridge? Why? Think about what was happening to Dusky Bridge. And how are we going to find that information? What information tells us this? No, we can't use the sketch, okay? Because right now it's just a sketch. That's all it is. We can't prove so yes, you can see here, lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. So,
Objection!
you claim that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred? But I'm sorry, Iris. It just isn't possible. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 p.m. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time. Why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge? It was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about that? You see something wrong, Di? is this woman? It was because of the lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't be! It can't be! It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. Ow! Order, order, order! The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed that bridge. Body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. You have anything to say for yourself?
Objection!
The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? But you're acting strange too. Sounds like he's covering up for the witness. Yes, of course, but whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of Elise Dawson was discovered in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. And second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Dawson's body. He makes a good point on both counts. That's right. I'm not lying. Why are you claiming this time? I wasn't myself at all that night. My memory is still somewhat hazy.
Objection!
You have stood at the witness stand and testified this entire time. And you're telling us now that your memory of the night is hazy?
Objection!
It is only human to error. You know, gotta realize something. If you realize where you are right now after the incident, you can't claim that your memory of the events are still hazy after making 3 complete testimony of the thing. If you're so perfect, Troy, maybe you can explain this to the court. What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burned down. But somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found at the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of a perfect explanation for this little magic trick? Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way we got across the burnout bridge. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, I'll never know the truth. Looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation. You see what I mean? In other words, you're in no position to suggest that this latest testimony isn't the truth. Ack! Alright then, witness, let's hear your testimony once more. About what, Your Honor? You've admitted that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Will this be your final testimony? Moving the body. Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. But just kind of confused, I guess. Does the snow still falling or has it stopped? Does it really matter? added that much? Are you saying that there's a way to cross the burning bridge? So it was just a misunderstanding. See. This is a picture of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. It certainly was burned to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. Amazing, the whole bridge didn't fall. I question that suspension wire. Surely it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Dusty bridge photo added to the court record. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder. Right. I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err. And only human can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Alright, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. In the body. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place, I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said, the body did make it across somehow. But you seem to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped. I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong. Is she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? This is no joke. You've given sworn testimony in a court of law. Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today? Huh? Well, actually it was You see? Not that easy to remember, is it? But if it had been some kind of a special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
Objection!
No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Wright. What? By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire. Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way across. Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge. Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Ha! There was. I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as as actually seeing something. I'm all the way, so I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? If I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. So I'll start by examining all my evidence and see where that takes me. It's gotta be like a start. If I don't keep moving, I'm as good as dead. Okay, which testimony are you going to use? Or statement? Which statement are you going to use? Okay, which evidence are we using? You could have used that on any one of her statements and it would be correct. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out that possibility. What? Ha! You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Who is it? Who is the witness? Can't take it out here. We gotta keep on the attacking. Go, go, go! That was a reference. I think the devs were watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because that is a reference in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mr. Elise Doxman's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Maurice Doxman. Brilliant, highly gifted apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony. At night, he was at the mountain shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming the victim flew through the air. And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Ha! Well, Trite, there's nothing for you to hide now. There's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know you're tricked. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. Remember what he said, Di. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Upside down? Why did Godot say that? Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix. Look carefully and think it over. The sketch drawn by Maurice Doxnam is... Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I mean, Your Honor. Maurice Doxnam stated it over and over, that this sketch was exactly what he saw. However, if we're to believe his testimony, the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? Ha! This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite, so what exactly contradicts reality? The flying figure, naturally. After all, people haven't learned to fly yet. Did I miss something? What do you mean people haven't learned to fly? What are those big heavy honky thingies in the sky then? They mean like birds. Oh, we drive birds. We drive birds. Mr. Wright, that answer just now, it was lethal. Mr. Wright, after dragging us all the way to this point, the answer was embarrassing. But that... Okay. I'm actually blushing. Blushing only suits women, not the elderly. Okay, so we're gonna rethink this. I've decided to rethink the whole thing. That sounds like a wise idea. Rethinking? Rethinking? Why you became a lawyer? Perhaps you'd like to rethink merely being born. No, I'm not going to back that far. Alright then. The witness will now return to her testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Alright. So, we gotta do this over again.
Objection!
So, it's going to be this thing.
Take that!
It's this wire connected to the bridge. The wire? Ah! Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. And show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality. So, we just received the evidence for it. What is it?
Take that!
That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes. Now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jumping Jehoshaphat! The wires are below the guard wires. Blah! Order, order, order! The sketch is somewhat different than what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely the artist just saw it wrong? Or perhaps he just drew it wrong? Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. With someone like Laurie, I admit a mistake is definitely possible. But then that begs the question, why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright. Remember what Maurice was doing when he witnessed the event. He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Maurice must have been at the time. Are you thinking that now, Di? He was lying on his back, which is why you remembered the scene the way you did. He was lying on his back? Can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. Oh! No way! Maurice Dawson witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, this sketch should actually, I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Maurice Dawson's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge, It's actually swinging below. That's right. Just like a pendulum. Ridiculous! Order, order, order! Of all the things to say, a pendulum? The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had fallen at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done.
Objection!
Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusty Bridge is about 20 yards long, which makes it about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover the distance with a pendulum, you need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. The lightning strike that night can only have been an accident. But it doesn't make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum? You know the answer to this one, don't you, Di? I know the answer. It'll be on this page. Talisman doesn't have a rope long enough. This one here?
Take that!
And the meaning of this, if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Ah! This is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to wait. So, they tied the wire around Elise Stockman's body. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Ah! Go, 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 go. Mr. Godot. He's acting suspicious. Isn't he, Joey? It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. I said, in this cup of coffee, there's only supposed to be 2 cups in that mug. And if it's cold, I can drink the entire cup in about 5 seconds. Seems that the odds of a rope being readily available was very high. So I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all.
Objection!
Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Right, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? We do. Matter of fact, we have 2 different types of evidence. Okay. Okay, welcome back, Di. As I stated, there is actually two pieces of evidence that can be used, but you can only pick one. You know what it is. One of them, however, is going to be easier than the other. Crime scene photo and track photos. They aren't going to help you. Bell thingy? What bell thingy? The ball thingy? That's a crystal sphere.
Take that!
Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in the front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal... Yes, precisely. Now, let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here, it would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? Well, what makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence to suggest her body dropped some distance. What kind of evidence? Take a look at the autopsy report. So you could have used the autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal is the one that came off from this police officer's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed, I believe it was already marked on the overhead map. The crystal was found. Ah! Precisely, Your Honor. The very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright, I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing. Oh, and what would that be? The aroma. Huh? A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you elaborate a bit more? Di, can you speak Coffinese? I can barely speak Japanese. Di cannot speak Coffinese. If the criminal has sent the body to the other side like you say, let me get looted. He works at a coffee shop. You think he works? You think he can speak Coffinese? Geez, Godot might be his best friend. Then naturally, there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to watch it. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite? We know the answer to this one. This one is not... The answer to this is not foreign to us. We know the answer to this one. Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple site? You know the answer to this one, Dai. There should be no thinking required for this one. Because she admitted it. Well, Butts is not a she, okay? Because like I said, she had already admitted to being the accomplice to this. Well, not so-called accomplice, but she admitted to this. So, like I said, this is a she. Shouldn't take much thought to think about it because she had already admitted to it. No, Bikini witnessed it, so she can't be accomplice to it. Iris. He admitted to it.
Take that!
It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? Ah! But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusty Bridge is by snowmobile. And this is what she said on day one. Yeah, you were overthinking it. I was trying to tell you. She had admitted to it. There shouldn't have been really much thinking to it. And based on what we've already gone back to Iris's old testimony that Phoenix is stuck in his pocket, which has now been proven correct because she never did cross Dusty Bridge. So Iris never once lied, which means who's in the witness stand? Well, with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it.
Objection!
Right. Were you listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the inner temple after the mother-daughter bloodbath. Except, that's not Iris.
Objection!
I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in two different places at the same time. Exactly. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved because of the burnout bridge, which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. Now we're questioning it. What? How could you say that, Mr. Wright? What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple?
Objection!
Are you serious, Troy? You mean this woman is? There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. While her whole demeanor changed so subtly from yesterday, and why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Her real name is... Who is she? Hey, you spelled it correctly this time, Di.
Take that!
I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. It's been a long time. Dahlia, Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Mr. Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her. It's Dahlia Hawthorne. Her name rings some bells. Distant bells, but details nonetheless. Ha! It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That's it. 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor's all mine! No, the honor's all mine! But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order, order, order! Wait a minute! How can you, my sister, she's already dead! What kind of...
Objection!
You of all people should already understand, after all. The blood of the master of the train channeling technique flows within that body. Train channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right. You're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of the spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where his twin sister, Iris, was? Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes.
Objection!
We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happened? Yes and no.
Objection!
Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. All written right here in these instructions. What's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. 2 of them? Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 o'clock p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris? The Iris who gave me this food, the main hall, was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed up as her. Namely one, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Objection!
Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business? Yes, it's true that you found plans that talks about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing at the witness stand is the real Iris. What? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, Dahlia Hawthorne, that had been channeled, would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. It was later that the body was moved by a pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that recovered the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There, they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Godot, you missed one important fact. She was with Miles Edgeworth until the earthquake. Yes, I suppose. Can't deny any of that. Phew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced. Is he? Something still seems off. Way off. I'm still not convinced that the iris here is the same one from the other night. Ha! I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like the real iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switch places. Switch places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time he was arrested at Huzzacora Temple, has there been a chance for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh, explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris' whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely unsupervised. Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris a chance to freely move about was... You know the answer to this one, don't you, Di? No. Because Iris could only have been with one person. Pearl was stuck on the inner temple side, remember? Pearl was stuck on the inner temple side. So there was no way for Iris to make any physical contact with Pearl. Godot was also on the inner temple side, so it's also impossible for him to make any physical contact with Iris. Her who? No. It's asking the person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about. So, Iris was with who? Yes, you are. No, Bikini is at the main hall. She could not leave the main hall because the police told her to stay put. She could not really say anything to Iris, let alone make any type of eye contact with Iris. Somebody you're missing died. Yes, you are very overthinking it. There is somebody that you are missing. Matter of fact, last week you should have seen it. Who she was with. Von Karma was with Phoenix Wright the entire time. Maybe memory should probably help you out with that information. If she was with Phoenix Wright, who was Iris with? This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? Earthquake! Oh my goodness, the inner temple! This kind of tremor might... Very overthinking. How could I have? She fled. She escaped. We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by this point in time. When I arrived at the inner hall, the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, that's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice? Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne. My current profession? Permanently retired. Ah! So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. What is going on here? Dahlia Hawk. Never thought we'd meet again. Never thought we'd meet like this. This time, I'll end it. For her and for myself. Okay. Probably a little bit of smoke coming from your ears, isn't there? After all that thinking. Is it just smoke? Maybe there's a fire. Should I go get Flood and put out the fire? The dusky bridge from one ear to the next is probably on fire, right, Di? Well, anyways, let's collect ourselves. Let's figure out what happened here. So, Di, what did we learn? Channeling shenanigans. Yes. Yes. Dahlia Hawthorne finally revealed herself at the very end of this. Although I do have to say something. We have 2 more parts. Fortunately, we're not going to be able to do them on this stream. I know we're going to end it early, but I got to do something about that because I like to have at least a full stream next week. So I'm going to have to reschedule my football another week. Yes, we have 2 more parts after this. 4-2 and 4-3 are the last of this entire thing. So this is the last of it, okay? So you got this part, you got 4-2, which is the whole trial is the last bit, okay? Which I thought I was going to be able to push them all in one stream, okay? But that didn't work out. So, because I knew how long it would have taken me. I expected to have this particular part done by 9:30. That didn't work out. Because we would have started 4-2 at 9:30 and then ended that at 10 o'clock. And then from 10 no, not 10 o'clock, about 11 o'clock. Then I would take the very last part from 11 o'clock to midnight. But that didn't work out. So I have to make 1 more week. That's okay. So we will still make 1 more week afterwards for the football, and then we'll start investigations next week. So, yes. We also learned how the crime worked, but we don't have answers on who killed her. We learned that Dahlia created a scenario to blame Maya for the murder of her mother. We learned that while the bridge was on fire, they had tied Misty Faye's body to a wire, and they threw her across the underbelly of the bridge to the other side. And that's where we also learned that she got the bruise because she had fell 10 feet. The crystal sphere on her staff broke. And that's where Iris took the body, put it on the snowmobile, and sent it all the way to the main hall and dragged it all the way in the courtyard. And that's where she desecrated the body. But the unanswered part is who killed Misty Faye. Because Maya's a suspect now. From this point on, you'll find out that Iris is only going to be accused as being the accomplice, not for murdering. Because at this point, Phoenix has proven too much. There's too much that he has proven that Iris is not the killer. Because Misty Faye was over on the inner temple side. Okay? She's over there on the inner temple side. And Iris is over there on the Hazakura temple side. So there's no way for Iris to have murdered Misty Faye. So that makes Maya the suspect because Dahlia said so. And right now, Dahlia is boss. Okay? You don't like to hear that, do you, Di? Dahlia's boss. Dahlia's not my boss. See, yes. Dahlia's going to be boss now. So she named Maya as the suspect. So we're going to get her side of things in detail because now she's not acting as Iris. So we will get her perspective on this. And we'll get more information about how she was channeled. Because now the channeling is being brought into the case. And that's where we're going to start. Hopefully, you don't have to, we don't have to repair your dusty bridge. That means no more burning bridges, Di. Okay. But, one sec. This music is always louder down. So, yeah. You're not gonna burn any more bridges, are you, Di? Promise Mario, you won't burn any more bridges. Because we don't want a fairy to be burning bridges. Or freeze them. You don't freeze bridges. It's Cyrano that freezes bridges. Tell Cyrano not to freeze any bridges. Okay? They're dangerous, slippery. This isn't Ice Road Truckers, okay? We're not going to cross a frozen bridge. Here's a nice bridge. I remember it. Taylor played it, didn't she? But yeah. Mario here kind of helped you with that last one that you were overthinking on. I did. Did you miss what I said? Did you? Why does my hand look like Mickey Mouse? Why the heck does my hand look like Mickey Mouse? I am not a Disney character! China. China? Fix this. I am not Mickey Mouse. See, my hands do not look like Mickey Mouse. What are these little oval thingies on my glove? They're not supposed to be there. You see the oval thingies, guys? Look at those oval things. Can you see them? Yo, turn the light off of the camera so you can see the oval thingies. There. Can you see the oval thingies, guys? What are those things? What are these things? They could be your knuckles. If they're my knuckles, I'm missing one. You're right, you are missing one. Okay. No, that camera needs to be turned back this way. Better. All better. All right. You like Mario, don't you, Die? Mario's funny. You ever see Shigeru Miyamoto? Just tell him, Mario's funny. How am I supposed to take over somebody's dream if I can't even move in this body without somebody moving me? Jai, do you have an answer for that? What evidence? She just proved you wrong. Okay, let's see who we are going to raid. Akio Zuri is in prison. What the heck is she playing? What the heck is she playing? She's doing a vertical trick. No, what? Senna? I think that is the agency that she's going through. Doesn't exactly say what game she's playing. It just says, officer, I did not hit her. Please, I'm innocent. Chadley is live with Super Mario Maker. So I guess we'll raid him. Because I know a certain fairy that probably wants to share some levels with him. Okay. So we'll raid Chadley. Here's his link. Alright. So we're most definitely going to have one more stream of this. And we are going to make sure we get finished. And I'm giving you a full hour because we got some other stuff that we have to do for the Wacky World Football League too. So Phoenix is going to end up having to do some more well. I think that's going to. With that said, this is going to be where I'm going to end. Okay? You guys